Today, October 25th, I had a bad day. I also had a good day, and it was a good day in the sense that I kept on persevering, I kept pushing, I kept on using my coping skills. But some days, I know for me, I can really get knocked down. Or I don't want to say knocked down, but extremely challenged. Especially with kind of going into the idea of adaptive patterns and growing out of maladaptive patterns. And today's challenge, I reached out. One of the things that has really helped me out is reaching to support systems and just reaching to people who I know that I can talk to and also help. And for me, there's also I know there's also some triggers. I'm also I've some big triggers I have dealt with greatly. And if I'm looking at myself into what I came from, and I'm talking about 2019, it's really an amazing thing. There's a reason why. All those medals. There's a reason why I'm such a successful 23-year-old, but still, I have flaws. You know what I mean? And that's like I'm saying that in humility, man. I really am. And I was laying here talking to some of my supports, okay, and literally I had this view, okay, in this view, all right. So I would say my belief system, I am more of an agnostic, okay? I believe, I feel like there is a connection in a way out there, and I believe that there can be a God. I don't want to kind of go into the idea of kind of spirituality or the concept of, okay, what's the guidelines, like the idea of, do I believe in the Quran, do I believe in what the Native Americans, do I believe in Buddhism? That doesn't really matter for this video, okay? And I don't really want to share that type of belief system, but I was thinking that, I'm going through a lot right now, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, if there's such a good God out there, alright, if there is such a good God out there, how can he let an individual go through so much, alright, or just go through I would say, this challenging experience? And I straight up said this: I fucking hate that God. Fucking hate God if he exists, or whatever is out there, if there is something, right? But I don't care. I fucking hate you, God. Middle motherfucking fingers in the air. Fuck you, God. Alright. And after I released that, just a thought, I just love it, man. A thought came to myself. For one, we're all on our individual journeys, right? And I don't think some ways from that, in a way, we're not in the wrong. And also, another thing I absolutely love about it is that if there was a good God, okay, and this is the thing I hate about the Christian fear. If we're talking about putting middle fingers in the sky, this is for that Christian fear on the idea of going to Jesus, mother effing Christ, to fix their problems, or the idea of God. I believe if someone goes to God, okay, to fix all their problems, or go to Jesus, okay, like the idea of the blind men going to Jesus to be healed, or the deaf men, so on and so forth, okay, I believe, and I am not saying these people think, I am saying those people, as I was saying, I don't think those people, I am not saying that they are thinking wrong, but I will say I do not believe that it is right, okay? I know for me, it is not right for me to go to God, okay, to fix my problems, or the idea of Jesus effing Christ, okay? Because for one, I believe if a person individually goes to them, alright, for one, to be happy, alright, for two, to get something in life, to three, to be healed from something, to four, alright, to have their problems disappear as if Jesus is the miracle worker, okay, so on and so forth, that it was portrayed in the Gospels, okay? Alright. I don't believe that is right, because for one, if God exists and if he does want a relationship, God would want a genuine person, a genuine heart, okay? And I'm not saying the idea of God would discard the person for going to the idea for that reason, but I believe that is not the right reason to go to the idea of God for. That is not the right reason one bit. I believe the right reason is, okay, alright, is, for me, I know if there is, to have that connection, to feel that connection, to know the connection, to bask in the connection, to love in the connection, and also just, I would say, being okay when things come when life is challenging, and also not relying on God as a crutch-like force, okay? And that's one of the most, there's several things that can be drugs to humans, okay? And I'm not saying drugs as like drugs. This can work. Drugs, okay? Alcohol, alright? Sex. Getting into, I don't want to say toxic relationships, but I'm sure I've heard about domestic relationships, okay? Alright? And also, God as well, or the idea of God. I'm not saying the individual, or the idea of the individual. I'm just saying the idea of God can be a drug as well. And one of the things that came to me, okay, but from that big detailed elaboration I just gave, okay, to this lovely camera, to myself, to the air, to the room, alright, to the metals, alright, to the pictures, okay, that, well, I believe that if there is a good God out there, okay, that he would not take thy problems away. He would not. Alright? Because I don't believe that's how God works. Okay? And if God does work like that, he's not God. If God does work like that, this would be a messed up, scary damn world, okay? This world would be dark, okay? Right? Like, for example, I'm gonna say this flat out. If the Bible was true, literally, black and white, as the idea of Adam and Eve being created, so on and so forth, and we go down the line as everything happened, okay? And by the way, it's not proven history either, alright? But if it was history, okay, and if there was this concept of demonic force trying to deceive the entire nation, and majority of the world going to hell, so on and so forth, and I believe even the majority of reasons why people go to the idea of Jesus is for Jesus to save them, okay? Not from hell, that comes later, okay? But from their problems in life. But guess what? That does not happen. And I hate it when Christians say that happens. Have you ever, okay, and I'm going down a little bit of a rabbit hole right now. Have you ever heard a Christian? I know I haven't, but have you ever heard a Christian that is kind of walking around, okay, sun shines and rainbows, and decides to say, you know what, I'm gonna just accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I'm gonna go to Him as my Savior, okay? And I'm like, oh wait, I found out there's hell. Oh my gosh, He's gotta save me from hell. Holy shit, He's gotta save me from sin. Holy shit, He's gotta save me from this demonic force. Holy shit, He's gotta save me from myself. Holy shit. All right, and now, and I've never heard that type of story, but I also never heard this story too, okay? This is hilarious, okay? Alright, is that now let's go to the opposite side, okay? Oh, I'm so depressed. Oh, I'm broken hearted. Oh my gosh. Anywhere I turn, oh my gosh. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna work. You know what? So unbelievably, I'm gonna accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior to save me from my problems. Oh my gosh, I go there. I'm hearing, oh, He's the miracle worker, miracle workers. Oh my gosh, I found out that He's gonna save me from the idea of demonic force. Oh my gosh, He's gonna save me from hell. Oh my gosh, He's gonna save me from the flesh. Oh my gosh, He's gonna save me from sin. Oh my gosh, I thought my life was shitty and tough then. Holy shit, it got even scarier and tougher, okay? Now, I'm gonna go to Him as my Lord and Savior. Full on. The first thing about the idea of fear and anxiety, I thought I had it then, but after hearing those things, ooh-wee, I'm losing my mind now. But guess what? Jesus is going to restore it, because you know why? He's a miracle worker. I'm sure He can heal minds. Alright, now from that rant, so the idea is that I believe that if there was a good God, He would let challenges come in life. Okay, He would not take things away. Alright, you know, one of the things I would love to hear a sermon about, and I never heard a sermon about, is that if you're walking with God, okay, let's say if you're walking with God, and if He sees fit that you have to be thrown into a fiery pit, He can push you in with both hands, okay? Alright, and it's not really the matter of to destroy you, but it's the matter of what you need. You know, for example, one of the things that in my life, okay, alright, is that I thought I needed something in my life once, and guess what? I had a taste of the idea. I had the taste of it, and guess what? A few days later, let's say it broke. The concept broke, and that's what I needed to grow. The taste was just, the thing I found, the taste was just an illusion, okay? It was just an illusion, alright, to what the true thing I needed, and it was the breaking point. That's one of the other things I have found in my life, throughout my life, and it's coming to me now, that there's some things that have happened in my life where I saw this illusion. And it was kind of in a way, like a trap in a way. I saw this illusion, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do that. And guess what? Something else happened entirely different that I needed. And man, what I needed was a lot of suffering and a lot of growing. Okay. Alright, and a prime example would be this, okay? This has stuck with me, and oh my gosh. It has. Alright. Let me see here. I'm gonna go to my YouTube channel now. videos, seeing all of them. But I'm going to the very down below side song and so forth right now. This is a perfect notion of an illusion. And you know what? I'm gonna probably try to do something different now. I'm just trying to find it right now. It is Rise. I'm just gonna. So I guess I'll go in this a little bit more detailed. You know what? This comes a long video. Edit it. Upload it to YouTube. So here we go. So I went in a detail in this live video, but this is a good representation of me, of my life moving. It's not that I am the character, but it's... So I'm just gonna actually mute it. It's that my life was moving towards that, okay? And as I know I can see, I'm seeing a whole tent here. It looks like an army there. It looks like they're these people are battling this. They wanna get out of something, okay? They wanna get something, okay? And I'm wondering, for one, if it's the right reason, okay? And that's another good conclusion, okay? Right? Are they doing it for the right reason? In fact, come on, damn it. Oh, there you go. Right there is King Richard the Lionheart, okay? And this, he is actually a character in history, okay? He's an English king and he did a 10-year crusade, okay? And on the way when he was coming back to his kingdom, he wanted to replenish some money. I believe the French took a castle of theirs, okay? And what happened, he's like, you know what, I want to get that castle back, but I want the money inside, okay? And from that being, the ironic thing to me is he launched a crusade, okay? I'm seeing connections all over the place now. Holy shoot. So get this. It's gonna be a big connection right now. Gonna be a big connection. So, you know what? Where's Mr. White? Oh no, I want to get Mr. White's. This is my prize and possession. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna go get Mr. White's, my buddy. Alright, he's gotta listen to this, man. He's gotta listen to this. Mr. White's in the house. So Richard the Lionheart, and I in my life I took after the name Lionheart. Sacramento, the Lionheart. But point being is, Richard the Lionheart, he went to that castle to get money, okay? So on and so forth. And get this, okay, as I was saying before, this guy launched a crusade, okay, to free up the Holy Land from the, I believe, the Turks, okay? All the Muslims, whatever, okay? And that would seem like a righteous deed in a way to his concept of his spiritual belief system, so on and so forth. And the thing I loved about the movie Robin Hood, the 2010 version, they portrayed this guy perfectly. And you know what? I'm gonna bring up a scene, okay? And I absolutely, man, I don't know what's going on, man, but something's coming to me, man. I feel like I'm having a revelation. After a hard day, I'm having a mofo revelation. Okay? Mofo revelation, bud. Excuse me. Let's see here. Robin Hood 2010. 2010. Robin Hood 2010 fight scene. I hope it doesn't become a battle. Come on, bud. Nope. I'm not gonna. It's just an ironic scene. It's just a real. I'm just gonna pass it. Perfect, got it.
This game is not about the science.
And I think, the thing for me, seeing the Middle Ages, kind of growing up, it was always a little bit, I would say a little bit of a trigger to an extent. Okay? I'm not saying it's like a full-blown trigger, but I think for me, what my representation of that is that these people were, to what the movie is portraying, these people were very vulnerable. They had a lot of hardships in life. They had a lot of challenges. We are the same individuals as those people. We face the same challenges, alright? But I would say, in a way, they are more, to an extent, the idea of vulnerable, right? So on and so forth. To an extent. And I think a lot of what I'm seeing is that they are exposed, so on and so forth. They're very exposed. By the way, they're very smart people too. But point being, they are very exposed, okay? And they really, I guess, the thing with it is I really see that they have to develop the mindset to, I'm not just saying to survive, but to overcome, okay? To overcome what comes their way. They had to be very tough, okay? And when I feel like when it's hard, this, I believe, shows the true righteousness of a person. When life's challenges are blowing down on them, and when they're under a lot of pressure, that shows deep down inside what a person is. And a prime example would be the story of Abraham. Yes, the story of Abraham and his son Isaac. I believe that's his name. Where Abraham told by God, and this is the biblical story, this is my interpretation of it right now, is that he was told by God, go and kill your son. And by the way, Abraham waited probably, I think, 25 years, or the idea of 25 years, okay? So Abraham is stretched, okay? And now, with him being stretched, okay, now we see that there's tons of pressure already on him, okay? Just hovering, okay? His nephew Lot left him, tons of pressure on him already, okay? And now, and by the way, Abraham's known as kind of a righteous guy, okay? Throughout the story of Abraham, okay, we see that Abraham is this righteous guy. And we see that at a prime example at the idea of Sodom and Gomorrah, okay? With him pleading on behalf of the righteous, okay? Like, spare them, okay? All right, if I may say, Lord, I'm gonna say Lord, and I'm not saying that the idea is my Lord, but I'm saying what he said is that, if I may say, Lord, that maybe 10 men, alright, 15 men, even 10 men, righteous men, would you spare the city? And he's like, God's like, yeah, I'll spare the city if there's 15 righteous men there, or 10, whatever. And now point being is so we see the true righteousness there, but that's not a lot of under pressure. Keep in mind, Lot was in there, and that was his nephew. So of course he wanted to save him. Like, keep in mind, there could have been an alternative motive there too. Like, was Abraham doing it for the right reasons, okay? And now we see that when he is told to go execute his son, he goes, takes the altar, okay? He's got the knife, and keep in mind, just imagine what that man was thinking when he was walking up the mountain. Oh my gosh, I waited how many years? My wife wasn't able to give birth, and now she can? Holy shoot, I don't know about him, but I know for me, I would be bawling. I would be crying, okay? And probably my son would be like, Dad, why are you crying so much? Is the lamb that precious to you? I would be like, yeah, it's that precious to me, okay? But the point being is that it goes with the idea, okay? And I do disagree with this idea, okay? Especially kind of biblical narrative, or even in all narratives, is that if you follow God's words, you are righteous. But keep in mind, the Bible may portray a sense of the idea of God, but did God really say those things? And yes, I'm going full on serpent in the Garden of Eden right now. But point being is, did God really say those things? Well, to be honest with you, I don't know. I'm not Eve, right? The story goes where she actually heard the voice. But point being is that whatever God says, the idea of the story portrays whatever God says is right, okay? So the idea that God, in that story, to me, represents righteousness. He represents righteousness, okay? And it's not really the matter of that Abraham is going to go kill his son, okay? It's not the matter of that. So the matter is that what was Abraham willing to do in the pressured down moment, okay? Will Abraham do the right choice? Will Abraham do it? And I don't believe it's really the matter of faith. I think in a way, to an extent, but it's really the challenge with all that pressure, because with all that pressure, there was nowhere to run for Abraham, and with all that pressure raining down on him, he did the right thing, okay? Hence, the idea of given concept. Okay? Alright. And I don't want to debate that if God actually said that or anything like that. That doesn't matter, okay? What matters is that the idea of Abraham in the story, to my interpretation, is that he did the right thing, okay? Under that big, giant test, okay? And it goes along another great thing, okay, with it is that I think it really, to me, it's a story about the prevalence to righteousness and seeking a life of righteousness, to seek of doing the right choice. But for that to happen, the individual person has to be under so much pressure. They have to face the challenges in life, right? To show who that person is in their heart, to show who that person is, just to show who that person is. Are they righteous or are they not? Right? And it goes to the severe pressure onto that person, okay? And another classic story of this is the idea of Job. Another classic story. But it also, the story of Job's not that thing. While Abraham clearly knew what was right and what was wrong, okay? Obviously, the wrong choice would be not listening to God's voice. So, the idea of that, so that would be wrong, okay? Alright, if God's like, yeah, F you, fingers in the sky, that would be wrong, okay? But what Abraham did what God basically said. And the idea that it's really, I believe it's, to me right now, it's the story of the prevalenceness to righteousness and going to it. And this connects with the story of these people, okay, in the idea of the Middle Ages. Righteous, they had to be in a way righteous, but if they weren't, well, I feel like in a way, to an extent, that would be more vulnerable, okay? I believe people who do not have moral codes or moral guidelines are way more open you know what? I don't really know, because I think it could go hand in hand. It was the idea I was really thinking about portraying was that, well, moral codes, it's the people who have moral codes. I think even if people do have a certain moral code, it doesn't mean that they are more righteous or more better than the people who do not have the idea of moral codes. But speaking of which,
I'm sorry about
I love the fun. And right now we see this battle, okay? And what my point being with Richard is that, okay, he wants, and it's an interesting aspect, he wants the money inside. He just wants the money inside, okay? Alright, he wants the money inside, but is that the right reason to conquer that castle? Alright? Is that the right reason to conquer the castle? In the regard of the story, to my interpretation, and a point that, yeah, I'm supporting, I'm going for, no, it's not. It's not the right deed, okay? He's not doing it out of the right deed. And that kind of goes back, okay, let's look at the 10-year religious crusade here. Was he doing that for the right reasons? I don't know. There's not much detail, okay? Kind of like the idea of Abraham in the Sodom and Gomorrah story, okay? Was Abraham doing that for the right reasons? Well, it turns out, kind of down the line, and I think that's really the icing on the cake with the idea of Isaac, is that, yeah, Abraham definitely was doing it for the right reasons, okay? But we see that now, Richard, we're seeing something now here, okay, towards this high-pressure moment, okay? And it's a very interesting thing, too, because Abraham was to kill his son. Richard is here to kill a castle, alright? And I don't know if God said that to him or what, right? But there's this righteous act within it. But keep in mind, the thing I want to also keep in mind when I say that, there's this huge gray zone too as well. There's a huge gray zone. It's not like black and white. But I'm going back because I know for me, what has helped me out in life immensely is trying to seek to do the right thing, okay? And not going for selfish ambition, which my interpretation of this story right now, he's going for selfish ambition, okay? Alright. And he's seeing that right now. And I think the thing that I see, and this gives me the alarm system in my head on the reason why he is going for that selfish ambition, is just look at the man in the battlefield. He's having fun with it, okay? I love the idea of having fun in the battlefield. I have a lot of fun in my bike races, but there's a sense of that, well, it's your day to conquer the castle. Do you really want to have much fun with it? I believe that to be a king or to be a leader, lead your men and charge into battle head on. But I also believe that you can't get full of yourself. Alright? You can't. When the individual person gets full of themselves, you know what goes out the window? Hashtag humility, okay? Humility. So on and so forth. And I believe for an individual person to do the right thing, they have to have humility. Okay? Alright, and now this goes back to another good point, is that, well, is this world a world to be conquered? Heck no! We as humans are supposed to be, I believe, caretakers of the world, okay? Make the world a better place. what is Richard doing? He's not making the world a better place, okay? But what would Abraham did? Well, if he did what God said, which was the idea of righteousness, well, yes, he's making the world a better place by doing that, okay? But keep in mind, to an extent, like, I believe individual people, it's not that, once again, I don't want to really get caught up in the idea of that, okay, did that Abraham's story literally happen, okay? It's more of, the story to me is portraying the high pressure scenario of that, okay? Alright, and I am not saying that I condone slaughtering children, okay? I do not condone that one bit, okay? But what I'm saying is it's the idea of following the right path.
Do its work. Break through at first light.
He's staring at it, man.
A fair wind. You can be home in 3 days.
To return to nothing.
By the way, shout out to that YouTube guy.
I have a wife who waits for me.
I have a mother that won't die. And a brother who wishes me dead. First thing I'm going to do is knock them up.
That's interesting. He's talking about returning home, and his mindset, Richard's mindset is, oh, I got a mother who won't die. And man, the thing too is when I see the mother is a damn good mother in this. And he wants to lock her up. Holy shit. This guy, I'm not really a big fan of Richard, man. Richard, I'm not a big fan of you, alright? And he's talking about a brother who wishes me dead. You may want your crown, yeah, but it's like I could understand that. That's a little bit more of a tough, and I don't really have the words to describe that, okay? But I would say just to lock them up, is that really the best case scenario here?
Your people will rejoice to see you return home.
And that is a condition I would like to keep them. To be remembered as I was.
I was. And man, when I watched this movie years ago, okay, I always wondered what he was trying to say here. I never got it until now. Holy shit. Revelation is hitting the fan. Bring the shit of Revelation to me. Alright, bring it on. Alright, I want to have some more shit. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what this guy Mofo saying. Gotta rewind, man.
And that is a condition I would like to keep them. To be remembered as I was.
Remembered as I was. What were you?
My army knows better.
His army knows better, and I love how they just changed the view to the castle, and that tells exactly where his heart is. And I know that it didn't make sense to me at the time, but now it really clearly does. What I am seeing within this, and it's so amazing, is that he's talking about when he returns home, he wants to be known as this righteous guy. He wants to be known as this righteous guy. He does. And now I see. Now I see that his army, in fact, knows better that he's not a righteous guy. And there's a part of him that doesn't feel that good about it. That's what I'm interpreting as that. And the thing with it is that if you feel that way, Richard, well, why don't you call off the siege? To be righteous, it takes sacrifice. And that is another connection with the story of Abraham and Isaac. Another good connection, because of what was Abraham went into sacrifice. And the thing with doing, I guess, the idea of righteous deeds, it takes the person out of the idea of selfish nature. And the thing with it is, if a person looks at this world just to conquer, all right, for self-gratification, just to take for themselves, they're not loving the planet, they're not loving themselves. And from that, the unrighteous person is. But I believe if the person loves, tries to take care of the planet, to give to the planet, the righteous person grows. And it's interesting too that his mindset is on that wind, okay? I would be more proud of him if he just said, I'd be more proud of him I'd be more proud of him if he just said, "The hell with the wind. The hell with the wind. I need myself some humility, so I'm just gonna walk away from it." But another thing too, that another way I guess to gain humility is to go get the win, and through that be humbled. And I also believe it's a self-realization. But either way, with the individual person, I would be very proud of them. Because I believe in both circumstances, there is the idea of the true win. Of it. I think it's way easier kind of seeing, going for the, way easier just to walk away and being like, I believe it's way easier to just walk away and be like, you know what, F the win, I'm gonna go this way. But I think it would be kind of a little bit more harder if the individual person goes to the win and gets humbled. But keep in mind, the individual person may not know that they will get humbled. Alright. But keep in mind, this circumstance I'm talking about, I know to me, it's not just that circumstance. It's a whole completely different circumstance. I don't want to say it's a whole completely different circumstance, but it's a different circumstance. Alright, but back to what I was saying. Oh shit. I'm talking about being righteous. And then here I go, cursing like a sailor. Yeah, Zach, you're being righteous. Well, I'm being righteous just like how Mr. White does his thoughts. That's right. He's got some big thoughts, man. Watch yourself around. Mr. Whites. We're talking about demons. Demon.
Lionheart, Major.
Major.
Every man in that army idolizes you, Your Majesty.
Nobody coddled me. I understand how difficult it must be to befriend a king.
That, in a way, I think, don't get. Ah, I got it. That guy represents, and by the way, that's his general. The general represents as, it's not the matter that he's trying to befriend a king. He's seeing the best in the worst of you. He understands. That's why I love Loxley right now, is he understands that you're not doing the best thing right now. He understands. He sees it. Okay. And as a general, as a friend, as an advisor, he is being there. He is being there with you through this challenge. Okay, he's not like telling you. He's giving you some encouragement, some support, but he's not like trying to fix the situation for you, Richard. That's what I'm seeing with Loxley right now, and that's really shows, I guess, the righteousness in him as well, because he's trying to take care of Richard. And even though that he's seen Richard not doing the best thing for him, he's letting him do it, but he's got Richard's back no matter what. Loxley, you're a motherfucking hero, man. I love that. I know for me, if friends, I know I have. I think friends gotta be like that, who would have your back even in the worst of times. But also, I think another good friend would also understand that if someone has to walk away during the worst of times to take care of themselves, that is also in the right as well. This is really
Come on, Loxley. Let us find some ruffians. Drink, laugh. Let us see if we can find an honest.
Yes. Let's do that.
An honest man. It's very interesting because now that dynamic of Richard trying to go find an honest man, he's not the most honest man, because he's not the most honest man. It's intriguing to me, because is he trying to seek an honest man? Is he trying to seek something within himself, outside of himself? That can be. Some these scenes I hate, man. I believe they really show the unrighteousness of people in a way. Alright. Shield your eyes! Shield your eyes! Right. Fall on. Yeah, I just don't like it. The director really, I think, showed it pretty good.
This is not a game of love. It's about the science of memory. And a quick hand. You've got a quick eye. I'll be watching you.
A little crazy.
Three choices. Right, left, or me. I think I'll take the fourth choice. What for?
I've been watching you for a while now, so
Yeah. Is no key. This game's a trick.
you take out the key when you're doing your slidings and your turnings.
I got you.
Don't touch it again.
I'll do it.
What's going on now? Hashtag humbled. That man was. That is a person, I would say, kind of is like Richard in a way. He grabs the money even if he lost. He looks at the world, I believe, my interpretation, he's looking at the world as a place to be conquered. Right? While in fact, Robin here is in fact doing it in a very fair way. And there's Richard. He's intrigued. Watch out, folks. Here goes Richard. And Robin's concerned about what just happened and what harm he did to another individual person. And he's not out there for himself. He's laughing, interesting.
Move back now! Not so long. You men are soldiers in play. Sinners after mine own heart.
Interesting how you used the word sinners, okay? Sinners after my own heart. Interesting. Sinners after my own heart. I think what I'm kind of interpreting that as, what I'm seeing now in Richard is that he's, I guess, there's something that he likes about this, and I don't think it's for the right reason, and I don't think it's the right thing either. Hence the word sinners after my own heart. Right, and hey, I have nothing wrong with a sinner. Be a sinner, go for it, okay? Alright, I have nothing to, for me, and it depends on how you view the word sinner and all of that, but it's like, you go, do you? I'm not going to judge. Alright? I'm not going to say you're a full-blown, filthy sinner that needs Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Heck, not. That would not be right of me. That would be very condemning just by itself.
Which one of you started the fight?
I did, sir.
Ooh, another good example of being under pressure. You see how righteous Robin is right now, especially in front of the king, who has all the power. And when he talked about sinners after my own heart, it kind of sounded like he was kind of going for the aspect of God's place. What's going on here? To an extent.
Who first?
Honest man. Who you fight?
He was fighting me, Your Majesty. Thought him to be a lesser man. You showed me different.
I didn't even just respect. Stand up, the person. Not you. Brave. And honest. Are you honest enough to tell the king something that he does not want to hear?
Oh no! Richard, I believe right now at this moment, Richard is looking outside of himself right now. He's battling with some insecurities, or he's battling with something right now, and it's something that's not really that right. He knows what he's doing to that castle is not right, okay? My interpretation, by the way, and he's like, okay, I want to see, and Loxley was talking about how every man idolizes you, sir, especially with the idea of righteousness. And now we're seeing this right now, and look what Loxley does. This is one of my favorite scenes. I love how Robin's looking this way.
What's your opinion on my crusade? God be pleased.
And man, Loxley's like, no, don't do it. Don't be honest, man. And Richard, his back is turned at Loxley. So Loxley is in fact right now trying to do these two men a favor, okay, who had no dealing with Richard before, okay, who had no, like, they're just archers, they're just random archers in the army, but the point being is that they had no dealing, they had no affiliation and all of that, okay, and they don't know what this man's going through, they don't know his black box. Loxley, holy shit, he knows probably everything right now. And what Loxley's doing, he's like, man, don't tell him the truth. He can't handle the truth. Alright, if a person cannot handle the truth, do not tell them the truth. If someone is blinded, do not try to unblind them. They, I believe in a way, must do it themselves. And Richard's not in the position. Because right now, it's going to be both bad for Richard, and it's going to be both bad for these two innocent gentlemen, okay? And those two innocent gentlemen, to me, represents the moralness of Richard right now, the goodness, okay? Alright, we're going to see what Richard does. Woo-wee! We're in a hot steaming pot now, man.
My sacrifice.
Would God be pleased of my sacrifice? Well, bigger question is, would you be pleased with thy sacrifice? And now we also saw the raw righteousness of that guy too. No way, where he's like, he was finding me his majesty. I didn't think he was honest, but actually, in fact, he was pretty honest. Okay. And that showed a man who is just trying to make it. It's kind of like a good person under hard circumstances. Hard circumstances make them do certain things. It does not mean they are not good people. I learned that from a murderer once. And yes, I have met a person who has...
No, he won't. Why do you say that? You must forget what happened, son. Speak up! When you had us herd 2,500 Muslim men running our children together.
Opposite religion.
The young woman at my feet.
Young
With
woman.
her hands bound, she looked up at me. There wasn't fear in her eyes. There wasn't anger. There was only pity. She knew that when you gave the order, our blades would descend upon their heads. But in that moment, we would be godless. All of us. Godless. Honest. Brave. And naive. Well, he's an Englishman. Like that.
And that's why it was extremely bad for Richard to know that, because he just couldn't handle the truth. And that's why it was very bad for them, because now they're on the chopping block and they did nothing wrong. It was, in fact, Richard's not willing to do the right it's the thing with Richard on within that got them to that spot. It wasn't them, but it was Richard's black box that he's going through. And at that moment, Richard abused his power. and back to this Rise video, is that this is a good shot of vulnerability too, right? Loxley doing his thing, supporting the King on, really doing his things. Alright, here we go. Richard Loxley charging up. Richard doing his thing. Alright, being, I'm gonna say arrogant to an extent, and Loxley's like, cover the king. Okay, but you know what? I'm gonna go to a different scene, but for my video. It got me on the point. No, this is not the right thing. Dang it. Oh, man. Perfect. Here we go.
I'm not gonna lie, I'll make music in a closet if I have to. So I use samples because, I mean, I play drums, but I don't really have...
I hate samples. Yes. So, by the way, so this is the last day they're about to breach, and look what has happened. Why do you have to be a... I'm not gonna condemn you, man, but I disagree with you strongly. I agree with having fun in the battle, but doing that, I believe if the individual was fighting the battle for the right reasons, he would not be doing that. Ah, interesting. Looks kind of like a, I don't want to say a peasant, but you know. Victory is had. What's this going on? Oh! One victory was had. Oh man, that is. Why, Loxley? Are you not feeling well? In many ways, I really kind of like that line because Richard at that moment, he knew, I think, my interpretation is he knew he messed up. And he knew that, well, I know I'm gone. I know this arrow, I know those, it's like, this happened. I'm just gonna make a joke. I'm gonna make a joke and I'm gonna be like, why, you not feeling well, Loxley? And I think that also shows a little bit of Richard too, you know what I mean? I think he's got humor, but I think even in this black box arena of where he's really struggling right now, he's got a good person inside of him. He's got that right stuff, okay? I think for Richard, it was really just a matter of accessing it. And what happens is he passes away, and if I go to my YouTube channel, back to the Rise video, back to the Rise video, I showed this idea, not a dilemma in it, but I went through this video of where what happened is he's going kind of through that, and that represented me at the time, and this represents
What I found out while I was burning in hell
die a bit to be resurrected. The beginning of starting new. You have to break a bit to grow. To grow out of the ways that held you down insanely. To grow beyond better than you can imagine. Becoming a bigger, better, strong, new you. To be formed into something greater than you were before. But the demons were still around. So with this, I had to face what killed me before. I had to face my greatest fears.
For the right reasons.
I had to destroy the hell within me. I can't let my demons overpower me. Even with the great power, I had to fight them back. I had to find a way to rise. So I faced my fears and my greatest weaknesses, and they became my biggest strength. While my anxiety, depression, and demons attacked me, it made me more stronger and better, and I became a demon slayer. Doesn't matter if you're small and you face the biggest problems. They still can get knocked down. It doesn't matter when your back is against the wall and you face annihilation. That's the moment where you show you're stronger. That's the moment where you slay and where you rise. That's the moment where you make your own path. That's where you charge into your greatest problems, your greatest fears, your greatest demons. That's where you become your greatest. That's when you transform. Even when you feel you're defeated. You have to rise.
And now that goes to the point of where one of my favorite passages out there in a second. I don't remember how it starts. Favorite passage is, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face many kinds of trials, for the testing of your faith produces patience, and within patience you may be lacking in nothing. And the point of everything I was saying is through great challenges, we grow as humans. I'm going to say, I know I grow as a human into making the world a better place, doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And I know from these challenges, and when I am in a way, and I'm not saying this from a divine force, but in a way tested, all right, it shows me who I truly am. All right? Shows me where I'm at in my life. And it also shows me on what I can improve on. And the idea of that testing of your faith, well, does that mean God? It can be. But what about faith in yourself? Or what about faith in your life? I know. It's testing when hard days come. It's really testing to keep believing. It's testing to keep going. But I know I gotta keep going. Alright, I gotta keep going, and it will be all worth it. To be looking back at where I was 2019, alright, and by the perseverance and by the hard work and by just everything I did to get to this point, I know it's worth it to keep going. You know why? Because I have the life I have now. And I'm going to even have a greater life I have now by going through all of these tests, by going through all of these challenges, and just sticking to the idea of just doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Just making the world a better place. And I think that is a true sign of a grown-up. And I think that's really one of my ultimate goals as a young man, is to grow up. Not grow up in the idea of what the world says, right? But grow up in a mature way. Grow up in a very I don't want to say, I'm going to say righteous way, grow up in a caring way, grow up in a great way, just growing up. And that's the big thing, is that I know for me, I know I need to grow up if I want to live the life to my fullest, because my past does not matter. All right, it's definitely going to learn from the past, but I am a completely new individual, and I will be lacking in nothing. And so it kind of goes back to my thing. Well, the idea of God. Well, is God all bad for just having life's challenges? No. I think I know for me as the individual person, all right, and I'm no Job, it's healthy to lash out and curse at the idea of God, right? In a way, that is some of my righteousness, by just doing that. And I also love it.